Good evening and welcome back. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Rishika Baru. Our top focus story continues to remain the high drama that's unfolding on the streets of Mumbai and in the corridors of power in Maharashtra. Breaking a 20-year record, Union Cabinet Minister Narayan Rane has been arrested in Mumbai for his slap Thackeray comment. High drama ensued as the union minister was taken away while he was apparently eating a meal. A video has now surfaced of the manner in which this arrest was conducted, with the BJP clearly calling this vendetta politics. Now he's been arrested. Why has he been arrested? Well, essentially over a comment on slapping Chief Minister of Maharashtra Uddhav Thackeray for his quote-unquote ignorance of the year of India's independence. This was a comment that he made in Raigad, and a case was subsequently filed by Shiv Sena workers. Narayan Rane is the first union minister to be arrested in 20 years. Well, Shiv Sena claims, what is the big deal? You had Priyanka Chaturvedi tweeting earlier to say that everybody should be treated the same under law, and of course the BJP alleging that this is nothing but vendetta politics. Now, BJP President JP Nadda has said that this arrest goes against the constitution. Leader of opposition Devendra Fadnavis has said that the BJP doesn't support Rane's comments, but the party stands behind him 100%, alleging that the state police was being used as a tool for vendetta politics. Now, what exactly happened? Well, there's been massive outrage over the slap comment. Shiv Sena workers today clashed with BJP workers on the streets of Mumbai. A fight broke out as Sena members marched towards Narayan Rane's home in Mumbai carrying flags and shouting slogans. They were stopped by BJP workers, which is when the clashes took place. Scores of policemen tried to break up this fight outside Narayan Rane's Juhu house and even used force to separate rival workers. Stones were thrown between the two groups. Sena workers then sat on the road blocking traffic. So high drama has ensued through the course of the day. Narayan Rane has now been arrested. My colleague Saurabh Gupta has been bringing us the minute-by-minute updates on this big story. Saurabh, what's the latest? We know that after the high drama, the clashes, the stone pelting, Narayan Rane has now been arrested. The BJP is calling this vendetta politics. The Shiv Sena is saying everybody should be equal under the law.
Absolutely. This is something that, the BJP is saying. In fact, Fadnavis's comments pretty strong on, referencing the Taliban in his statement. But, all of this is, of course, the fallout of what transpired this morning. The arrest warrant and the FIR, the news that broke this morning that there's been an arrest warrant against Mr. Rane. There was also a tweet that came around the same time from Nitesh Rane, who was Mr. Rane's son, saying, that he's been informed that Sena men are gathering. And since then, of course, we've been reporting on what played out on the streets of Mumbai in Juhu, where there was a clash between BJP and, Sena workers and Rane supporters. And, this is, of course, a continuation of that. Then after that, of course, things calmed down in that area. Things had returned to normal. And of course, the action moved to Sangameshwar, where Mr. Rane was as part of his yatra, which he was conducting, and there, of course, the police reached with that arrest warrant and picked him up and took him to the police station and placed him under arrest. Now, this is, of course, come after what has transpired, throughout the day. At this point, of course, Mr. Rane, is under arrest, and this, of course, comes with the fact that Mr. Rane is, of course, the first union minister in 20 years or so to be arrested. So, obviously, a big developing story out of Maharashtra that's, come out of Maharashtra today.
All right. So, high drama has ensued. This, of course, is a big developing story. There are political charges being traded on both sides. We have Daniel Francis, spokesperson of the Congress party, joining us. Sanjay Gupta, leader of the Shiv Sena, with us as well. Sanjay Gupta, to you first. We are also joined by Abhishek Tripathi, leader of the BJP. But Sanjay Gupta, to you first. Narayan Rane's arrest is being looked at, by the BJP as political vendetta. Respond to that charge.
देखिए, नारायण राणे जी ने जिस तरह का बयान महाराष्ट्र के मुख्यमंत्री साहब के खिलाफ दिया है, उसके अगेंस्ट जिस तरह का एक्शन होना चाहिए था वो महाराष्ट्र पुलिस ने, मुंबई पुलिस ने लिया है। और जिस तरह का बयान नारायण राणे जी ने दिया है केंद्रीय मंत्री होते हुए, मैं तो ये मांग करूंगा प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी साहब से कि इस तरह के व्यक्ति को जो इस तरह का बयान दे किसी मुख्यमंत्री के खिलाफ, ऐसे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के मिनिस्टर को तुरंत बर्खास्त किया जाना चाहिए और एक आदर्श स्थापित किया जाना चाहिए कि कोई मिनिस्टर इस तरह का बयान अगर देता है तो उसके खिलाफ कार्रवाई भी की जाती है। तो जिस तरह से एक तलखी थी बीजेपी और शिवसेना के रिश्तों में, उस तलखी को खत्म करने के लिए उद्धव जी ने कभी भी बीजेपी के खिलाफ किसी भी तरह की कोई स्टेटमेंट नहीं दी। जब से गठबंधन खत्म हुआ है तब से लेकर अब तक अगर हम देखते हैं तो उद्धव साहब ने, चाहे वो सुशांत सिंह राजपूत का केस था, चाहे वो कोई और केस था, लेकिन उद्धव जी ने कभी भी बीजेपी के खिलाफ या किसी भी तरह की इस तरह की स्टेटमेंट नहीं दी कि जो हल्की स्टेटमेंट कही जा सके। मगर जिस तरह से नारायण राणे जी ने आज जो एक काम किया है, इससे बीजेपी के और शिवसेना के रिश्तों में एक तलखी आई है और इस तलखी को खत्म करने के लिए बीजेपी के बड़े लीडरांस को एक्शन लेना चाहिए और एक्शन लेकर के नारायण राणे जी को तुरंत उनके केंद्रीय पद से बर्खास्त किया जाना चाहिए और एक आदर्श स्थापित किया जाना चाहिए।
Okay, I will also come back to you on the question of whether the means justifies the end, whether the protests, the stone pelting, whether the violence that one has seen today was actually justified, and whether the Sena actually has any justification for that. But Abhishek Tripathi, respond to that. There have never been unpleasant comments being made by the Shiv Sena against the BJP ever since the two parties parted ways. This comment therefore has not gone down well with the Shiv Sena. Where does the BJP stand? Do you support this comment that was made?
See, honestly, we don't really buy the comment, but we stand by Mr. Narayan Rane. Now, let's not forget when Devendra Fadnavis was Chief Minister and Shiv Sena was our coalition in Maharashtra, they were then also attacking Devendra Fadnavis with wrong terms. Not only Devendra ji, his wife was also time and again was attacked with indecent behavior. Now, let's not forget Uddhav ji, Shiv Sena, Sanjay Nirupam, whole lot of people have attacked Prime Minister in a very derogatory term. So I don't think we should be taught by Shiv Sena or any of their representatives that what we should say or not. Yes, we may not agree with the statement, but we stand by Mr. Narayan Rane. There has been
no, but please explain this to our viewers. What does this BJP? I'm confused. I'm confused. What does this BJP stand mean? You stand by your leader, but you don't stand by his statement. Does that mean that your leader is going to apologize for the statement that he's made because he is currently under arrest?
He has been detained. He is not arrested. He has been detained right now. And when the right time comes, I'm sure Mr. Narayan Rane will decide what call he is going to take.
We have Naresh Mahaske joining us. He is the person who filed the complaint against Mr. Narayan Rane. Naresh Mahaske, why did you file this complaint?
हाँ बोलो।
क्या आपने ये complaint क्यों फाइल करी है?
ये देखो, नारायण राणे जी ने महाराष्ट्र के जो चीफ मिनिस्टर है उनके बारे में मैं कान के नीचे बजाऊंगा ऐसा स्टेटमेंट किया है, वो राज्य शिष्टाचार का उल्लंघन है। और उद्धव जी एक शिवसेना के पक्ष प्रमुख भी है, उनके वो स्टेटमेंट के वजह से कि यहाँ जो थाना का जो स्थिति है, जो सिचुएशन है, वहाँ शिवसेना है, बीजेपी है और अनेक ग्रुप्स है, तो उनमें उनके स्टेटमेंट के वजह से यहाँ कुछ दंगल हो सकता है, यहाँ मारामारी हो सकता है। ये चिथावनीखोर जो स्टेटमेंट उन्होंने किया है उसके खिलाफ ये वातावरण वो बिगाड़ रहे हैं, महाराष्ट्र के वातावरण बिगाड़ रहे हैं और थाना का भी वातावरण बिगाड़ रहे हैं, हर जगह वातावरण बिगाड़ रहे हैं नारायण राणे जी के स्टेटमेंट के वजह से।
आपने कंप्लेंट फाइल किया, ठीक है, बट आपको लगता नहीं है कि वातावरण तो बिगड़ चुका है? आज देखिए क्या क्या हुआ है। नारायण राणे के घर के सामने पत्थर फेंके गए, क्लैशेस हुए शिवसेना और बीजेपी के बीच में।
ये देखो, वही तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि वो अगर ऐसे स्टेटमेंट करेंगे तो वातावरण बिगड़ेगा ही ना, तो उनको कंट्रोल में लाना चाहिए ना बीजेपी ने भी। ये देखो, ये पार्टी जो दोनों राजकीय जो पार्टी है, तो उन्होंने उनको कंट्रोल में लाना चाहिए। सीएम के खिलाफ महाराष्ट्र की एक अस्मिता है, कोई भी सीएम रहेगा, कौन सा भी पार्टी करेगा, वो भी एक महाराष्ट्र के हो राज्य की एक अस्मिता रहती है। उनके बारे में कान के नीचे बजाऊंगा ऐसा स्टेटमेंट योग्य है क्या, सही है क्या स्टेटमेंट? तो
आपका क्या डिमांड है?
लोग तो हमारा डिमांड है उनको ऊपर काबू लाना चाहिए, उनको अरेस्ट करना चाहिए। जो उन्होंने किया है वो गलत है।
नहीं, अरेस्ट तो उनका हो गया है, बट अब आपका डिमांड क्या है? बिकॉज बीजेपी ने बोला है कि दे डोंट सपोर्ट द कमेंट बट दे स्टैंड बाय देयर लीडर।
ये देखो, बीजेपी के लीडर जो बोल रहे हैं उनकी वो दुटप्पी भूमिका है। जो दो तोंडी बोलते हैं ना, हमारे महाराष्ट्र में बोलते हैं दुतोंडी, वैसा दुतोंडी डबल रोल उनका दिख रहा है। हम वो स्टेटमेंट के खिलाफ नहीं है, स्टेटमेंट गलत है और हम पार्टी उनके साथ है। क्या हो गया? अगर वो गलत है उनको बोलना चाहिए, बीजेपी ने तो गलत है उनको कंट्रोल लाना चाहिए। सिर्फ शिवसेना के खिलाफ बातें करने के लिए, एलिगेशन करने के लिए राणे जी को उन्होंने मंत्री पद दिया है, ये तो अभी साबित हुआ। कोई तो रोज चिल्लाने वाला चाहिए शिवसेना के खिलाफ। बीजेपी अब डर चुकी है कि अभी ये सत्ता लाने की कोशिश महाराष्ट्र में कर रही थी, अगर वो नहीं मिल रही।
आप कह रहे हैं कि ये बीजेपी, आप कह रहे हैं कि ये बीजेपी की कंस्पिरेसी है?
यस, ये बीजेपी का बनाया हुआ प्लान है और बीजेपी नारायण राणे जी को इस्तेमाल कर रही है।
नहीं, बट नरेश जी मुझे बताइए, आप महाराष्ट्र पॉलिटिक्स मुझसे ज्यादा समझते हैं, मुझे ये बताइए कि ये जो रिलेशनशिप है नारायण राणे और उद्धव ठाकरे के बीच में, ये तो पिछले कई सालों से ये रिलेशनशिप बहुत बिटर रहा है, बहुत एक्रिमोनियस रहा है। द टू हैव ट्रेडेड चार्जेस इन द पास्ट एज वेल। नारायण राणे हैज बीन वेरी क्रिटिकल of Uddhav Thackeray even when he was in the Shiv Sena and he left.
ये देखो, मीडिया में आने के लिए, मीडिया में पब्लिसिटी के लिए यही राणे साहब यही बर्ताव कर रहे हैं, उद्धव जी के खिलाफ बोलने का, शिवसेना के खिलाफ बोलने का। ये सिर्फ पब्लिसिटी स्टंट है और पब्लिसिटी के लिए ये सब कुछ कर रहा है। लेकिन कल उन्होंने हद कर ली है शिवसैनिक। ये देखो, शिवसेना का जन्म संघर्ष से हुआ है। शिवसेना इज नॉट अ प्रोसेस, इशू बेस्ड पार्टी शिवसेना है। अगर शिवसैनिकों को अगर ऐसे भड़काएंगे तो जो युद्ध ब्रिगेड है वो कभी सुनने वाली नहीं है। हमारे सीएम
नहीं, बट क्या आप इस वायलेंस को जस्टिफाई कर रहे हैं? नरेश मास्के, आर यू जस्टिफाइंग? नरेश मास्के, नो, you file a complaint. Look, you file a complaint, you file an FIR and you let the law take its course. Are you justifying the violence?
जो सिचुएशन बिगड़ रही है महाराष्ट्र की,
नहीं तो बिगड़ी क्यों है? बिगड़ी क्यों है? गवर्नमेंट तो आपकी है ना।
स्टेटमेंट के वजह से नारायण राणे जी ने जो
नहीं, बट आपने, बट हाउ हैज द शिवसेना लेट दिस हैपन? My question is very simple. It was the Shiv Sena that was marching towards Narayan Rane's house, which is when they were met by BJP workers and the clashes took place. Are you justifying this violence?
देखो, आप देखिए जो पूरे पॉलिटिकल सिचुएशन जो महाराष्ट्र की चल रही है, आप देखिए रोज नारायण राणे, उनके लड़के लोग गलत तरीके से उद्धव जी के खिलाफ बोल रहे हैं, जो बोलते हैं जो संस्कृति के खिलाफ है।
बट आर यू जस्टिफाइंग द वायलेंस? क्या आप ये वायलेंस को जस्टिफाई कर रहे हैं नरेश जी?
वायलेंस को जस्टिफाई नहीं कर रहा हूँ। ये देखो, लोगों को माथा भड़काने का काम राणे साहब कर रहा है। उसके मूड तक जाओ।
मेरे एक सवाल का जवाब दे दीजिए, मेरे एक सवाल का जवाब दे दीजिए। अगर नारायण राणे के खिलाफ एक्शन लिया जा रहा है, he has been arrested for the comments that he made against your chief minister, shouldn't action be taken against those who took law into their own hands on the streets of Mumbai today? Very simple question. Answer me in yes or no.
मैं वायलेंस को जस्टिफाई नहीं कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन ये क्यों हो रहा है?
Will you take action? Will you take action against the Shiv Sainik and the BJP workers who created this ruckus today?
देखो, जिन्होंने कुछ किया होगा, अगर शिव सैनिकों ने पत्थर मारे होंगे, कहा मैं बोल रहा, वहां उनके ऊपर मामला दर्ज हुआ है पुलिस स्टेशन में। पुलिस किसको छोड़ नहीं रही है। लेकिन जो प्रोटेस्ट है वो प्रोटेस्ट तो हुआ है, ये मैं मानता हूँ। लेकिन प्रोटेस्ट क्यों हुआ ये भी आप सोचना चाहिए। ये प्रोटेस्ट क्यों हुआ, इसी की
नहीं, ये तो फिर आप जस्टिफाई कर रहे हैं ना।
सेंट्रल मिनिस्टर, देखो, नहीं मैं जस्टिफाई नहीं कर रहा हूँ। सेंट्रल मिनिस्टर, जो देश का सेंट्रल मिनिस्टर, उसकी भी एक गरिमा है, वो उसकी गरिमा उसने संभालना चाहिए।
Okay, that was Naresh Maske. That was Naresh Maske, the person who has filed the complaint against Narayan Rane. On the basis of his complaint, that arrest has been made by the Mumbai police today. There was massive outrage over the slap comment that was made. Shiv Sena workers clashed with BJP workers in the streets of Mumbai. A fight broke out, an ugly fight broke out as the Sena members marched towards Narayan Rane's home in Mumbai. They were carrying flags, they were shouting slogans, they were stopped by BJP workers, which is when these clashes broke out. The police had to resort to force in order to separate the rival workers. Now, before I go back to my panel, let's just listen in to the comment that was made by Narayan Rane, which has sparked this entire controversy.
काय उपाय नाही, वॅक्सिन नाही, हे नाही, ते नाही, स्टाफ नाही, डॉक्टर नाही, भयावह परिस्थिती महाराष्ट्राच्या आरोग्य विभागाची होती. बोलायचा अधिकार तरी आहे का? बाजूला म्हणा एखादा सेक्रेटरी ठेव आणि विचार बोल, त्याशी नाही काय. किती वर्ष आली देशाला संतुलन? हिरक महोत्सव काय हे असतो तर कानाखाली चढवली.
All right, so that's the comment that sparked the outrage. Let's also listen in to the reaction that's coming in from Devendra Fadnavis, the leader of opposition in Maharashtra, on how the BJP is responding to this.
त्या पोलीस आयुक्तांना सांगून देतो, आमच्या कार्यालयावर ज्यांनी हल्ला केला त्यांच्यावर कारवाई केली नाही तर आम्ही दोन्ही विरोधी पक्षनेते त्या पोलीस आयुक्ताच्या कार्यालयासमोर जाऊन त्या ठिकाणी आंदोलन करू. कायद्याचं राज्य असलं पाहिजे, तालिबान नाही आहे, कायद्याचं राज्य असलं पाहिजे.
All right, so those are the reactions that are coming in. The BJP stand appears to be that they support Narayan Rane in principle. They stand behind him 100%, but they don't support the comments that he's made. That's a very diplomatic stand that the BJP has taken. Daniel Francis of the Congress, Sanjay Gupta of the Shiv Sena, and Abhishek Tripathi of the BJP continue to be with us. Abhishek Tripathi, I'll come back to you first because I had to interrupt you there. Your party's stand is very confusing, and that's the question I was asking you. You stand behind your leader, but you don't support the comments. Does that mean he's going to apologize for what he said? Abhishek Tripathi? All right, we seem to have lost that line. We'll try and reconnect with him. Daniel Francis, how are you looking at this entire controversy? You just heard from the complainant in this case, Shiv Sainik, who said, that it is these comments that have sparked the violence and therefore the Sena is not to blame.
Rishika, at the outset, I'd like to tell you that, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, loud and clear. Go ahead.
That I don't represent the Congress. There's a little confusion here.
Okay.
I am an independent commentator. And,
all right. I apologize. We'll have that changed. Please go ahead. As an independent commentator, how do you look at these developments?
I look at this statement imagine that we look at this statement that Narayan Rane has made is absolutely wrong, and it should not be made. Given, but there was no need for the Sena or the state government to unleash their party workers in the way that they've unleashed it in 4 or 5 major cities. Today, Mumbai, Pune, Thane, Chiplun, so many other cities, small and big incidents of violence are taking place. There's absolutely no need. If you wanted to take action on this person who has made a certain statement against the Chief Minister, and you go ahead, take action, what is legally viable, arrest, whatever you want to do. But this kind of violence is absolutely not necessary. That should have been, there should have been a restraint completely.
Well, I think the Shiv Sena has many questions to answer over the violence that's taken place in Mumbai and those sporadic incidents that you're talking about all over Maharashtra. Is that violence really justified? I think that's a larger question that the Shiv Sena needs to answer. But very quickly, I also want to ask you, Daniel Francis, how do you look at the BJP's reaction or stand on this whole controversy where they say we support Rane but we don't support what he said?
See, what is happening and at the time of which it is happening is very, very important. Okay, BJP has elevated Mr. Rane to a union cabinet minister. He comes and goes on to the rest of Maharashtra addressing the Jan Ashirwad Yatra. There he tries to instill that kind of aggression that the BJP campaign needs for the local body elections that are upcoming in the state early next year, particularly Mumbai, Thane, and other important cities. With this, what has happened is that both the party workers, particularly in Bombay, whether it is Sena and the BJP, have got new energies and new purpose to aggressively fight it out with each other. And unfortunately, like it happens in most states, these elections also in Maharashtra that are going to come, I think the picture is very clear. Violence will be part of it from both sides. And
Sanjay Gupta, respond to that. respond to that? Very unfortunate to see the violence. There was a comment that was made. We've played out that comment. There's no taking away what Narayan Rane said. It was derogatory against your Chief Minister. The anger is understandable. There's a complaint that's been registered. The law has taken its course. He's been arrested. But what explains and what justifies these clashes? And let's make no mistake, it was the Shiv Sena that was marching towards Narayan Rane's house. The chronology of events is very important. And when they were marching with these posters, banners, registering their protest against Mr. Rane is when they were stopped by BJP workers and clashes took place. Can this violence be justified in any manner whatsoever? Sanjay Gupta.
देखिए, शिवसेना के किसी भी लीडर ने इस तरह के वायलेंस को करने के लिए नहीं कहा है, मगर जिस तरह से शिव सैनिकों की भावनाओं को आहत किया है उन्होंने अपने बयान से, ये शिवसेना के कार्यकर्ताओं की अपनी भावनाएं हैं जो उन्होंने इस तरह से इस चीज को लिया है। लेकिन किसी भी शिवसेना के लीडर ने इस तरह से नहीं कहा। किसी भी चीज की बर्दाश्त की कोई हद होती है, उस हद को इन्होंने पार किया है और उन्होंने शिवसेना के कार्यकर्ताओं को इस तरह से उकसाया है, जिस तरह से पश्चिम बंगाल में उकसाते हैं, जिस तरह से दिल्ली में उकसाते हैं। मगर जिस तरह से दूसरी स्टेट्स के अंदर अगर किसी दूसरी पार्टी की सरकार बन गई है तो ये इस चीज को उकसाते हैं कि किस तरह से वहां पे वायलेंस हो, किस तरह से वहां पे हिंसा हो, किस तरह से वहां पे आगजनी हो। मतलब एक भी शिवसेना के नेता ने किसी भी तरह का ऐसा बयान नहीं दिया। और ये कई बार अभी जो बैठे इन्होंने कहा कि ये तो नारायण राणे क्योंकि महाराष्ट्र की राजनीति को करने के लिए आए हैं, अभी बीएमसी के चुनाव हैं, अभी ये है, अभी क्या इस चीज से नारायण राणे को इस बात का हक मिल जाता है कि वो किसी चीफ मिनिस्टर को थप्पड़ मारने की बात कहेंगे? और बीजेपी
वो कमेंट गलत है, हम उस कमेंट को डिबेट नहीं कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे, हम इस वायलेंस को डिबेट कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे। आपने एक्शन एफआईआर फाइल किया, आपने एक्शन लिया, आपने अरेस्ट किया, वो कमेंट, दैट कमेंट वाज मेड, वीव हर्ड दैट कमेंट, दैट्स फाइन, लेट द लॉ टेक इट्स ओन कोर्स. But what justifies this violence? Let me quickly get in a last word from Abhishek Tripathi as well. Abhishek Tripathi, I mean, how can this violence be justified?
No, this violence can never be justified. I mean, if somebody is saying,
but
I'll slap...
your party is equally to blame for the violence, sir.
No, listen, hear me out, please. What I'm saying is, somebody says, I will slap him, that's not a violence. Okay, but these people have, literally captured 5 cities. There's Mumbai, there's Thane, there is Nasik, there is Konkan area, there's Chiplun, there's a whole lot of places which has been captured. They are breaking away BJP office. The people are at risk on the road. Nobody is able to travel. What kind of violence is this? And why? What is the need? And how can anybody justify the violence that Shiv Sainiks are creating on the road? I mean, if I understand the statement has been made uncalled for. Absolutely. Well, I'll again say we stand by Mr. Narayan Rane. We support him. But the statement is uncalled for. How can a statement be compared to a violence which is happening on the road?
Will your leader apologize for the statement that he's made?
No. Listen, see,
answer my question, sir. It's a straight yes or no answer.
The violence is not happening because they are waiting for his apology, is it?
But I'm asking you a separate question. I'm saying the violence is not justified. I've asked the leader of the Shiv Sena the exact same question. There is absolutely no justification for any individual taking the law into their own hands. But will your leader apologize for the statement that he made? It's a very straight yes or no answer.
No, let time come. I cannot upfront give you that answer whether anybody is going to apologize for this or not.
Okay.
Let the law take its own course.
Let the
violence stop first. That's the bigger problem than any statement which is happening in Maharashtra.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for joining us with your perspective. Irrespective of whatever may have transpired, it has to be the law that takes its course and not people, irrespective of which side of the political spectrum they are on, to take law into their own hands. There's absolutely no justification for the violence that is ensued in different parts of Maharashtra today. We leave it at that. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining our short break. We'll bring you more news on the other side. Stay with us.